We talked about the fact that this style doesn't like to move into that place of decision making. And we often talk as leaders, our core part of our role is to define, right? Define things for people to follow, define the expectations, the goals, the plan, you name it. And it's interesting, as you were talking about that, I was thinking about a client of mine that we've been working with for many months now, and trying to get them out of this dysfunction of indecision. And so then the second we put it down on paper, it's like this shifting away from it, because I'm not, we've defined it and I've decided it, and I don't want to decide it anymore. And so again, it's because it doesn't feel safe when they go, so we say, drawing their lines in the sand, right? And saying, this is how we're going to make this all work. And that can really get in the way of, an organization evolving and growing. But certainly, we think about this, part of that indecisiveness is ties into one of the main strategies of this leader, which is essentially conflict avoidance, right? And really they'll take everyone's ideas into account, but it's ultimately to avoid conflict. And so if I'm being decisive and I'm defining something, then there's the potential for conflict. And so when we don't define things and we're moving in that place as an avoidant leader, trying to avoid conflict, then we see that dysfunction of power struggles really emerge in the organizational environment. And again, as I talked about that example of the client where, there's no rules of orders in a meeting, there's the infighting and the dysfunctional behavior exists, and they complain about it, and they're frustrated by it, they want to see it stop, but they actually don't do anything to deal with it on their own. It's as though that's outside of them and it just needs to magically go away, right? And so to others, they seem incapable of leading. They seem incapable of really managing or correcting the performance of their subordinates. They seem like, they don't know how to exercise their own power. And again, in that power vacuum, as we said, that, power struggles start to emerge. And when the conflict exists, what happens is that avoidant leader withdraws.